Good afternoon. It's Monday, June 29, 2026. Year's almost halfway over, people. And I am coming back off of doing the Pacific Crest Trail. I'm about 1.3 miles from the trail. Done about, I'd say 8.5 total. It's 8 miles to Crystal Lake, going north from Tipsoo Lake, or just north of Tipsoo Lake. You head north on the Pacific Crest Trail, then you veer off at a switchback right when you get through Sourdough Pass. It's 1,700 foot elevation gain if you go all the way to Crystal Lake, which I did. 8 miles total, so 4 miles to it and back, another 4 miles. It's 1.7 miles to Sheep Lake, 3 miles to Sourdough Pass, and 4 miles to Crystal Lake. It is a little windy, chilly, not really raining, which is good, but not a whole lot of good vistas, which I was expecting that. And I mean, hey, you know, even without the vistas, oh man, this is an awesome hike. Good exercise, good cardio. Get to clear my mind, reevaluate things. You know, you get out there, live your best life possible, people. You know, work on yourself. You know, free your mind. And I ain't talking about no sovereign citizen BS stuff. No, I'm an American. I'm proud to be an American. You know, I got German and Italian and, you know, Native American and English, you know, blood all in me. French too, I think. You know, you think I give two shits about any of those cultures or countries or people? No, because I'm an American. I wish them the best now. You know, but people have to, you know, make their own way in life. You know, actions have consequences. You know, I don't understand this living life without consequences and without responsibility. I just don't get it. You know, you get out of life what you put into it. You know, I think some people just expect, you know, that everything should be paid for. Nah, man, all I want is what I've earned. And I have every right to protect that too. And I do. You know, the Constitution grants me that. You know, gotta have law and order. You know, I just don't understand this. You know, I'm proud of the fact I don't lie, steal, cheat. I pay my taxes. I live within my means. I save for a rainy day. I don't rely on anybody for anything. You know, that's something we all should strive for. You know, I instilled that on my son. Oh, look at that view. There are some views now, I will say, but and the flowers are coming in too. Got the people. Man, look at these. Oh wow. You know, enjoy the beauty of nature. It's out here everywhere, just waiting to be discovered. It just takes time. You know, if you're not healthy, then just go take your time there. Start working on your diet. I can eat a lot better, I know that, but I get lots of exercise. And like when I'm done here, I'm going to get me a salad from Wendy's. So hey, you know, oh wow, look at this view here. Let's take this in for a second. Back it out a little bit. There we go. Get a little fisheye there, 0.6 mag, so in that way, get a little bit more of everything. Yeah, but work on yourselves. You know, just because you're grown, doesn't mean you can't improve yourself. You're stationed in life. You don't like your job, do something about it. You know, but don't just quit, you know, have an escape plan, you know, give 2 weeks notice. They want to fire you, fine. You take a little mini vacation then. Now start putting money back. When you come into money, where it's from holidays or birthdays or, you know, income tax. Hey, here's a novel idea. How about putting that money back for a rainy day? How about paying off some bills? You know, put it on a car note, put it on some loans. You know, I did have zero debt for years, but I got a Subaru that I bought used. Before I got a good deal on it and put over half of it down. It was 31 total, well 33. I put down 16 and financed 15. I had to pay $2,000 because there were some under suspension issues and everything from the accident that it was involved in before I got it, which that's the reason why I got such a good deal on. So I knew that was a possibility, and sure enough. But Subaru dealership hooked me up, got it all squared away, and instead of saving $17,000, I saved $15,000. So it's all about perspective. Could I try to go after them? Yeah, I guess. Do I really want the aggravation? No. So you know what? I don't get wrong. Could I have that $2,000? Yeah, you $2,100. You ain't right. But I mean, it's part of it. That's life. Things happen. Should have been fixed. Yeah. Did I still get a great deal on it? Heck yeah. Shoot. I love the fact that the low 30s is the most I've ever paid for a vehicle in my life. I've only had 6 vehicles in my whole life. 3 POSs and 3 decent ones. Yeah, that's just how it is when you're starting out in life. And grow up poor. So as poor as other people? No. There's different levels to it, but I was pretty poor. Living in a trailer park. Had secondhand clothes. That was just part of it, Now I live within my means, but I get to do things and see things, and but it's about perspective and living within your means, people. That's the main thing. These people nowadays, when you try to live your life by other people's standards, you'll never be happy. Simplify your life. There's so much. We weren't meant to live these complex lives, and unplug from the internet. Get out here, reboot your brain. Think for yourself. If you care what celebrities or politicians or athletes or singers or whatever, what they think, oh my goodness, that's sad. That is. I don't care what anyone thinks. Don't get me wrong, I care what my family thinks and stuff. I don't want to embarrass them. I don't do anything to embarrass them. So, that's how I don't do. If I'm embarrassed to do something, I just don't do it. Don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat. Live within my means. Try to stay somewhat healthy. I want to live as long as I can. 53 years old now, and 5'10", about $155. So I'm well within, proportions there. I was up to 210 at one point, about 6 years ago. So, like 2 years ago, I was about 180. I'll wait for the group of people to go by. Share the trail. Share the road. Oh, but yeah, work on yourselves. Start simplifying your life. Get rid of the negativity, and I promise you, your quality of life will skyrocket. You don't have to worry about being on no meds. Your mind's clear. You think for yourself. You have confidence. That's one thing about me I have. I don't have to worry about is confidence. But that's something that you have to come about. Yeah, I love these flowers. I ain't seen the fields like I wanted to. Getting near to the trailhead, so that must mean got all these people coming. Don't know how far they're going. I guess a lot of people are stopping at Sheep Lake, so that's 3.5 miles round trip. Or you can go 6 miles. Oh, look at all these, so cool. To Sourdough Pass. Or you can go 8 miles total to, like I did, to Crystal Lake. About 1,700 miles, 1,700 foot elevation gain. If you do the whole 8 miles, if you only do 6 miles, it's about, I'd say 1,000, give or take. So that's still for 6 miles. That's a good elevation gain. Good workout. The main thing is, oh my goodness, look at this. I think somewhere out there is Bigfoot. Oh man, love being out here. Decided to come Monday instead of Sunday because there weren't as many people. I'm glad I did. Plus it was raining yesterday, a little cooler. So anyway, I got my 4th of July trip coming up. Friday I start heading down. I'm gonna stop in Newport, Oregon and go to the aquarium. And then I'll head down to Brookings, Oregon and hike for 2 days around the redwoods. And then I'll head over to spend the rest or the next day at Crater Lake. So anyway, y'all get out there and enjoy nature, people. Later.